The Krithian war fleet emerged from hyperspace like a swarm of metallic locusts, their ships bristling with weapons that had reduced 17 civilizations to cosmic dust. Commander Zarthok stood on the bridge of his flagship, mandibles clicking in satisfaction as he surveyed the blue marble hanging in the void. Earth. The humans had been warned. 3 solar cycles ago, the Galactic Council had transmitted the message: surrender your resources, submit to Krithian rule, or face extinction. The humans had responded with a single word that the translators struggled to interpret properly. No. Zarthok had laughed then. Every species said no at first. The Ventari had said no. The Quilorians had said no. They all said no until the first planet cracked under Krithian plasma cannons. Then they begged. Then they surrendered. Begin orbital bombardment of population center designated New York, Zarthok commanded. The weapons charged with a familiar hum. Then everything went wrong. Alarms shrieked across the bridge. The tactical display lit up with thousands of contacts, no, millions. They weren't ships. They were too small, too fast. What are those? Zarthok demanded. Unknown projectiles, Commander. Launched from the planet's surface and from everywhere. They're coming from orbit, from the moon, from. The first missile hit. Then the second. Then 100 more. The Krithian shields, which had withstood planetary defense grids across the galaxy, buckled and collapsed in seconds. Human weapons weren't elegant. They weren't powered by exotic particles or quantum entanglement. They were crude, chemical-fueled explosives packed with depleted uranium and high-yield nuclear warheads. And there were thousands of them. Evasive maneuvers. Zarthok roared, but human missiles didn't care about evasion. They adapted mid-flight, learning, predicting, swarming like the pack hunters of Earth's ancient past. 3 destroyer-class ships vanished in nuclear fireballs. A cruiser broke apart as a railgun slug punched through it at a significant fraction of light speed. The humans had turned their moon into a weapons platform, their orbital space into a minefield, their very planet into a fortress. But the Krithians were the galaxy's apex predators. They had numbers. They had experience. Zarthok rallied his fleet, and they pressed the attack. That's when the human ships arrived. They weren't beautiful like Ventari cruisers or imposing like Quilorian dreadnoughts. They were angular, utilitarian blocks of metal and weapons. The lead ship broadcast on all frequencies. This is Captain Jake Morrison of the UNSC Indomitable. You have attacked human territory. You have one chance to retreat. Zarthok responded with plasma fire. Captain Morrison sighed on his bridge, surrounded by his crew. His tactical officer, Lieutenant Rebecca Hayes, looked up from her console. Sir, they're not backing down. Didn't think they would, Morrison replied. All ships, execute Protocol Omega. Show them why Earth is still standing after 4 billion years of evolution. The human fleet moved with coordinated precision. But it wasn't their tactics that shocked the Krithians, it was their adaptability. Every weapon the Krithians deployed, the humans countered within minutes. Plasma cannons. The humans angled their armor and deployed heat-sink drones. Gravity wells. They fired kinetic harpoons and pulled themselves through. Boarding parties. The Krithians learned too late that humans were terrifyingly effective in close combat. Private Marcus Johnson cleared a Krithian boarding tube with his squad, his combat armor's HUD tracking 17 hostiles. The Krithians were larger, stronger, with natural armor plating. But humans had something else, creativity born from being prey that became predator. Frag out. Johnson shouted, bouncing a grenade off 3 walls before it detonated in the middle of the Krithian formation. His squad moved through the smoke, exploiting every angle, every weakness, fighting with the ferocity of a species that had clawed its way to the top of Earth's food chain. Back in space, the battle turned. The Krithians realized too late that humans didn't just prepare for war, they lived it. Every human child learned history filled with conflict. Every human culture had warriors. They had been fighting each other for millennia, refining the art of destruction to a science. Commander Zarthok watched his fleet disintegrate. Half his ships were gone. The humans were boarding his flagship. He had one option left. Retreat, he whispered. Commander, his officer asked, uncertain. Retreat. Zarthok roared. Full withdrawal. Abandon the system. The surviving Krithian ships fled into hyperspace, leaving behind wreckage and the shattered remains of their reputation. On the Indomitable's bridge, Captain Morrison watched them go. Lieutenant Hayes smiled grimly. Should we pursue, sir? Morrison shook his head. No. Let them run. Let them tell the galaxy what happened here. And what did happen here, sir? Morrison looked at Earth, still hanging peacefully in the void, untouched despite the Krithians' best efforts. They learned that humans don't give up. We don't surrender. We adapt. We improvise. We overcome. We've been doing it since we climbed down from the trees, and we'll keep doing it until the stars go dark. 3 months later, the Galactic Council received a message from the Krithian Empire. It was simple, direct, and unprecedented in its candor. We withdraw all claims to human territory. Humanity is to be considered a protected species under Article 7 of Galactic Law. Any aggression toward Earth will be considered an act of war against the Krithian Empire. The galaxy's most feared species had found their match. And they wanted no part of a rematch. Humanity had arrived on the galactic stage not with diplomacy or submission, but with the unmistakable message that Earth's children would not go quietly into the night. They never had. They never would.